All right, welcome back. Today, we're diving into something pretty profound. It's like we're setting off on a spiritual quest, following a map promised in an ancient text, a map that claims to lead to ultimate knowledge, to the very source of reality itself. Sounds big, right? Let's get into it.
So this one verse is our starting point. Think about it. The divine teacher, Krishna, is basically saying, hey, listen up. I'm going to give you the short version, the direct route to what's called Brahman realization. It's like someone handing you the keys to the ultimate spiritual destination. Which, of course, makes you wonder, what is this destination, really?
Okay, so before we just start running off with this map, we need to know what we're looking for, right? You got to understand the language of the map. What do these words even mean? Let's decode the key terms in that promise.
First up, the big one, Brahman. Now, this is not some place you can find on Google Maps. It's not a god sitting on a cloud. The texts describe it as, well, the absolute ultimate reality. It's the foundation of everything, the unchanging, eternal truth that's underneath our crazy, constantly changing world.
Okay, so who gets to go on this journey? The verse says it's for someone who has attained perfection. But hold on, this doesn't mean you have to be some kind of perfect person with a perfect job and a perfect life. No way. It's talking about a deep, inner transformation. It's about purifying your own mind, getting to a place where the ego, those constant cravings, and all our attachments, they just don't have the same grip on you anymore. It's about perfecting your inner world, not your outer one.
And the reward for all this? The supreme culmination of knowledge. Again, we're not talking about acing your final exams or winning a trivia night. This is something else entirely. It's described as the absolute highest state of knowing you can reach. It's a direct, hands-on realization that's way beyond what our brains can just think about. You know, it's a difference between reading a book about swimming and actually jumping in the water.
So when you put all those pieces together, you see what this promise really is. It's a mission statement. It's a roadmap for a seeker who's already done the hard inner work, showing them how to feel, not just think about their connection to the fundamental reality of the universe. That's the quest.
All right, so let's get into the weeds here. We know the destination, we know the prize, so what does the map actually look like? What are the steps we need to take on this path?
From what the text tells us, the path has 4 main stages. It's pretty logical, actually. You start by preparing your main tool, your mind. Then you develop the right mindset. After that, you get into the core practice itself. And finally, well, that's where you arrive at self-realization. Let's break down those first few steps.
Step 1, and this is absolutely crucial, is citta shuddhi, purification of the mind. Think about it like this. If you want to see your reflection clearly, the mirror has to be clean, right? Your mind is that mirror. So before you can perceive a really subtle truth, you got to clear out all the muck, the negative emotions, the ego, the constant chatter. And you do that with things like selfless service, devotion, and meditation.
Okay, once your mind is a bit cleaner, a bit quieter, the next step is to build 2 key mental muscles. The first is called viveka, or discrimination. This is the power to see the difference between what's real and eternal, that's Brahman, and what's just temporary and passing, you know, the stuff of everyday life. The second muscle is vairagya, or dispassion. This is about learning to detach from the roller coaster of worldly wins and losses. And that brings us to step 3, the real engine of this whole process. It's a powerful trio of practices. First, you have shravana. You listen, you study the teachings. Then comes manana. You don't just accept it, you think about it, you reflect on it, you wrestle with it until it clicks logically. And finally, nididhyasana. You take that intellectual understanding and meditate on it, deeply and consistently, until it stops being just an idea in your head and becomes a lived reality for you.
Now, for a journey like this, you're gonna need the right gear. And I'm not talking about hiking boots and a compass. I'm talking about an inner toolkit. The teachings call these the shatsampat, or the 6 treasures. These are the qualities that are gonna keep you grounded and focused when things get tough. So this toolkit has 6 key items. It starts with your inner world. You've got shama, which is basically peace of mind, controlling that restless monkey mind. And that's paired with dhamma, which is control over your senses, so you're not constantly pulled around by every little thing.
Then you need uparati, the focus to step away from distractions, and titaheksha, which is huge. It's the grit, the endurance to handle hardships without getting knocked off your path. And holding it all together are two pillars: shraddha, which is a deep, unwavering faith in the teachings and the path, and samadhana, that laser-like, one-pointed focus that you need for deep meditation. This whole toolkit is what keeps you steady.
Okay, so you've done the work, you've cleaned the mirror of the mind, you've followed the map, you've used your inner toolkit. So what happens then? What's it actually like to arrive at the destination? What is the nature of this realization?
And this might be the most mind-bending part of it all. The final goal isn't some new idea you learn or a philosophy you can debate. It's described as a direct, personal experience, one that's completely beyond words, beyond language, and even beyond the limits of your own rational mind. It's a fundamental shift in how you perceive everything.
This really cuts to the core of it. The big reveal is an experience of, well, non-separation. That feeling we all have of being this small, isolated me in a big world, that just dissolves. It's replaced by a profound awareness that you are one with everything. And the result of that realization, as the texts promise, isn't just a little bit of calm. It's a deep, unshakable peace, a boundless joy, and a sense of absolute freedom.
So this all leaves us with one last, really powerful question to chew on. If the ultimate destination, the final truth, is something beyond words, what does the journey itself teach us? That whole process of cleaning up our minds, of learning to see clearly, of searching for truth within ourselves, what does that tell us about who we really are right here, right now? Now that's a question worth sitting with.